introduce you to a very good friend of mine, Chuck Whitehead. He's an incredible leader. He's, as I mentioned to you guys before, he's the general manager and partner of Coldwell Banker Associated Brokers in Southern California. Send all your referrals to him and his team. And he has a passion for helping agents develop their businesses. And it's a unique passion. And he has put his money and his efforts where his mouth is. And he has now, I mean, he's been speaking all over the country for quite some time, but now he's formalized that into North Star seminars. Did I have that right?
Yep.
Seminars. And for those of you that went to Gen Blue, some of you were lucky enough to see him on stage presenting probably some of the things that are similar to what he's going to be talking about today. But Chuck is one of those exceptional, unique leaders. And I was very honored for him to accept our invitation to come and chat with you all. So with that, my friends, it is all yours.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to get started a little early. Is that cool?
That's great.
All right. So, well, I just wanted to start out, Todd, by just saying, and I'd love to get just a little bit of feedback from you for a minute. You guys know that in California, the market shifts are insane. I mean, and Mark Carter out in Albuquerque kind of describes it as a whip, where it's like you're at the top and bottom of the market so fast your head spins. And for us, I would say across the board in Southern California, we have probably lost, I'm going to say $100,000 of property in the last 6 months, Todd. And that's no joke. And obviously it's interest rate driven. Our inventory is still very low. And are you guys running into the same situation where your units have started to shrink and you're starting to find that pricing is becoming more important and price reductions? And where is your guys' market at, Todd, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, no, thanks for asking. So all year units have been down, but the first half of the year prices were still climbing. So you didn't feel it as much. In the third quarter, both prices stopped rising, and in a couple of markets, they began to decline slightly.
Okay.
And the fourth quarter projections are that the market will be off significantly. I'm expecting that overall, it's going to be off just about net 20-25%.
Okay. Okay. So in our MLS, is about down 35%. So sounds like we're similar. So what I like to do, guys, and what I want to talk about is I like to talk about in the trenches stuff. I like to talk about, how to price your properties right. I like to talk about how to get price reductions. But none of that stuff matters if you don't have leads. If you don't have buyers and you don't have sellers, then it doesn't matter how great of an agent you are in terms of negotiations. It doesn't matter how great of an agent you are in terms of, your ability to get deals closed if you don't have any. So Todd, I wanted to just start out by talking about a quick little event that I got to be a part of about 2 weeks ago. And that event was what's called the Elite Retreat here in Southern California, where we took our top 15 Coldwell Banker agents from my company and we mixed them with Peter Mendiola from Coldwell Banker West's top 15 from his company. And so we had, so out of like 1,400 agents, that was the top 30 there. And they were talking about how they're making adjustments to the market, how they're putting their pedal to the metal, how they are making changes, how they're making adjustments. And, Todd, I know you didn't ask me to talk about that, but I wanted to just real quickly talk about 4 or 5 things that I learned from those elite agents on how they're making adjustments to their business. So I am going to jump right in by sharing my screen, and let me do that real quick. And then if you guys, I'm sorry, Todd, it's because I don't have power. I was going to be doing this a little bit of a different way, but that's what it goes.
You make it happen how it's supposed to. You're all good.
Okay, cool. So can you guys see this okay? Okay, cool. All right. So first things first, again, I've talked a little bit about your market, but the most important thing for me in this elite retreat would be when somebody asks you the big question, and that big question being, is this a good time to buy? And I'm going to pick on Carrie DiPilato, I think her name is right there. And so my question for Carrie is, Carrie, do you think this is a good time to buy? If your brother or sister or cousin or mom or dad asked you, is this a good time to buy? Would you mind just telling me, Carrie, real quick, what you would say? And you can unmute and just give me your answer. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I'm just asking.
You might want to grab an agent. Carrie runs our marketing, so okay, she certainly probably has an answer. But
all right. Then Carrie, don't answer that. So the problem, Carrie, and for all of you guys is that, and this applies to staff too. We have to make sure we're telling our agents this is what are you telling buyers? What is your narrative when they ask you the question? And a lot of people out there are basically saying like, hey, secretly, like, I wouldn't buy right now if I were you. It's still going to drop. I mean, people are saying that, and you agents out there in this world might be saying that too. So you have to have a narrative. Here's 4 things that we learned at our elite retreat. Number 1 is that prices have dropped. Let's get on it before they adjust rates back down. You were so smart, Mr. Buyer, not to have bought 7 months ago. That's one of the first things, right? And I do believe that. So, you know, when you look back at the people that bought in the last 12 months, like the people that locked in their rates at 2.75, 3%, we look at those people now, we give them high fives, we give them a hug, and we tell them that they're geniuses because they got that rate. I think the same thing is going to happen right now to the people that are currently buying, especially the cash buyers. Todd, and we put up 125 sales last month in our office, and of those, 40% were cash. 40% of those sales were cash. The reason they were cash is because these guys didn't want to pay the prices before, and they were competing with those 2.75, 3% people. So that being the case, anybody that does buy now, I believe in a couple of years, we're going to look back and we're going to say, when did you buy? And they're going to say, I paid cash in 2022, the end of 2022, the beginning of 2023. We're going to give them the high five because of the great move that they had. The second one is, we like to tell stories about, to inform our buyers of why it's a good time to buy. My number 1 agent, Todd, who you met at Gen Blue, she had just gotten off the phone when you saw her there. Her client, the buyer she represented the seller. The buyer came online, and the buyer basically said, I'm going to walk from this deal unless you give me some concessions in escrow. Our contingency removals, I don't know if you guys have that, hadn't been removed yet. So the buyer gets on the line, the buyer's agent gets on the line, the seller, and the seller's agent. And the buyer basically says, hey, I want to get $20,000 off the list price, and I need $17,000 to buy down my rate. And if you're not willing to do that, I'm going to walk. End of story, period. That's the situation. So anyway, so my agent gets off the phone. She calls the seller, and she said, I got to be honest with you. I think you should take it because I can't guarantee you that I can get you that price again in 6 months, 4 months, or in a month, in 2 months, and you need to get your house sold. So those are the types of stories that I think we need to tell buyers that opportunity was not here 6 months ago. And, if Barry Habib and everybody in the Fed is right, and they drop rates back down in April or May, you're not going to get that opportunity again. So that buyer scored a home run, because when rates go back down to 5, 5.25 in 4 or 5 months, maybe 6 months, that's going to be a victory. So that's one of the other things. One of the other lines that they came up with, of course, you've heard this probably: marry the house, date the rate, and divorce the rent. Right. So, I mean, that is just the bottom line. If you are still renting, I don't know what's happened in your markets, Todd, but if you're renting here, our rents have actually doubled from where they were 3 years ago. So if I was renting the same 3-bedroom, 2-bath in my market, that was $1,700, it's going for $3,200 now. So that being the case, right now, you're paying 100% interest as a renter. Why would you want to do that when you have the opportunity to, even if you're paying a higher rate and your payment goes up a little bit, you got that huge tax deduction of that interest write-off. Right now, you have no interest write-off whatsoever. So you're paying 100% interest. What's the difference between paying 7 and 100? The next one is this with rates. Let's talk about them. If rates go up, Mr. Buyer, you win because you locked in at 7. If rates go down, you win because you can refinance that thing and drop your payment right now. So whether rates go up, whether rates go down, it's a victory. That's the bottom line. It is a victory for Mr. Buyer right now if rates go up or down. So that's just one thought. Now, in terms of pricing the properties right, I don't know what your guys' MLS looks like, but our MLS here, we have down arrows every time there's a price reduction. So in every listing appointment, all of these top 30 agents who are in this elite retreat, all of them are bringing their down arrows, showing the price reductions from the MLS of what's happened with pricing. Number 2, they're of course working backwards off the net. Hey, I want a net 50,000. Cool. Let's see what we can get to get you there. That's a standard one that you guys are all used to. Number 3 is explaining to Mr. Seller that time is not your friend. When I was at a big event in Albuquerque, and they brought in a national speaker who's an expert on finances, on money, on the Fed. And when he was talking, he basically said the one thing that you guys all need to remember is that the Fed does not like surprises. Meaning that if the Fed says they're going to raise rates 3/4 of a point on short-term money, they're going to do it. If they say they're going to raise rates 1/4, they're going to do it. They don't want to surprise or shock the markets. Now, they have said that there will be 2 additional increases coming in the next 4 months. So that being the case, you can understand, Mr. Seller, that they do not like surprises. They said they are going to raise it. They will. So in my market, for example, if we've dropped $100,000 over the last 8 months, That's about $13,000 a month. It's dropped here in the California market. So that means that every single day you're losing $400, Mr. Seller, that we don't get your property sold. So that is the reality of the situation. So that being the case, time is not your friend. Oh, I was thinking about waiting till May, or till why? If there's going to be 2 more clicks up in the market on interest rates, you're going to get your butt kicked. Like, I'm here to tell you, the Fed is all about telling the truth and doing what they say they're going to do. So time is not your friend, Mr. Seller. Let's get this on the market now and get it priced right. Number 4, a big one. This was my favorite, because you guys understand from California, just this, right? A lot of the guys there were the pretty guys in the tight little suits with the tight little pants and the brown shoes, and they think that they're the greatest people in the entire world, and they're walking around, and only they could actually use this line, Todd. And basically what they do is, somebody comes in and you walk into the house, and they're, the house is worth 650, but they're saying it's worth 725 or 750. They're living in la la land right now. And they say, well, look at my neighbor's house, and you look at it, you go, well, your neighbor had a pool and they had an updated kitchen and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, but my house is, just as nice. And they said, okay, well, here's what we need to do. This is one of their lines. And this guy uses it every time, Todd. I think it's great. And his line is, well, okay, here's what we're going to do. I have a cabinet maker that I'm going to have come over. He's going to be here on Tuesday to price out the cabinets, because we're going to redo the kitchen. We're going to need to redo the bathrooms. And then my pool contractor, I'm going to give him a call to see what time we can get him to come over here, because we're going to need to put in that pool as well. So we got the pool, the cabinets, the kitchen, and the bathrooms. Then we can get you that price. He actually says that. So for me, like, I thought that was hilarious. Like, to me, that makes me laugh. But all comparables are not the same. So for him, like I said, he always says when is construction going to begin, and he works backwards off of that. Number 5, again, I don't know your guys' average sales price, but one of the shock values that I don't think a lot of sellers realize is when you explain the buyer's payments to them. So for example, $700,000 is about the average in the market area that I live in. And so what I would suggest you guys do is, whatever you think the pricing is when you're going in on that property, if it's 700,000, for example, say, okay, well, with 10% down, here's what you're basically looking at. With 10% down at 7%, with a little bit of PITI, there's an HOA of 80 bucks. And of course, you're gonna have the mortgage insurance with 10,000 down. So the payment's gonna be $5,800, Mr. Seller, on whoever's gonna buy this house with 10% down. Would you buy your house for $5,800 down, $1,500 a month? Most likely you probably wouldn't. Like, we have to deal with the reality that someone can't come along and buy your house for $5,800 a month right now. So those are just a couple of the tools that they are using. Again, you guys all have your own personalities. You all have your own style. Whatever works for you on the way you're doing it is great. But I do think that the payment is another great option. Okay, so another question that I would have for you guys is, where does your list price land? And what I mean, this is my advice to you guys. So if I have 50 homes on the market, and I'm looking at everything, and this is one of my favorites. I learned this early from a superstar that took me under my wing when I was just a little baby agent. And he said, Chuck, if you're looking at 4-bedroom, 2-bath homes with a 3-car garage, and there are 32 of them that came up in this particular area of Telluride, or came up in this particular area of Grand Junction, wherever you guys are, and you price it at this, and you are number 22, do you think your house is going to get shown? Where, if you just make this little adjustment, Mr. Seller, if you just make the adjustment of $8,200, we can move you from being number 22 on the list up to being number 6. So instead of being 700,000, let's go for 691,500, because that's going to make you number 6. The amount of showings you're going to get by being in the top 5 or 6 properties is going to be dramatically different from being number 22. Does that make sense, Todd? You with me? Just that little adjustment in that sales price is going to bump you up to be in that top 5 or top 10. I mean, that's huge. All right, so that's a couple of ideas for you. Hopefully you find that helpful. That was not stuff Todd asked me to talk about. For those of you guys that were at Gen Blue, this is the material now that we are going to be talking about. And again, I am want to start out by saying that do not neglect expireds. Expireds are coming. In my market here in California, the average sales price about 8 months ago was 6 days, or sorry, the average days on market. Right now, it's at 90. So that fast, we have gone from being 6 days on market to 90 days on market. What that means is that there's going to be a lot of skilled agents out there that are going to excel, and a lot of newer agents, a lot of lazy agents, a lot of agents that don't answer their phones, that are going to lose their listings to them expiring because they didn't know how to get price reductions. They didn't know how to market that house. They aren't maximizing, all of the tools that Coldwell Banker has through List Track and through all of these different things to keep the sellers happy. So that being the case, I think it's really important that you put in some form of an expireds plan right now. because you will be seeing expireds pop up. And again, it's no longer order taking. It is getting out there, rolling up your sleeves and working. In terms of FSBOs, there are still some FSBOs out in the market that are going to get cheap, as they always do. My advice to you on FSBOs is call them up, make an appointment, give them the line that, you know what, hey, I may have a buyer coming up for your property. Would you mind if I came through and just previewed your property so that I maybe snapped a few pics while I'm in there in case I get any buyers? That gives you the opportunity when you go out to these for sale by owners to build a relationship with that seller. And also let them know, if you need anything, I'm always here. Hey, I know you're not using me as your agent, but if you have any questions, any problems, any situations, I'm always here. Would you like me to give you a market analysis? Is there anything I can do to help? I'm not asking for you to give it to me right now. I just want you to know that I am available for you if you need me. So don't neglect expireds, and do not neglect FSBOs, because those are going to be the things that are going to make or break you in the future, and going to give you that opportunity to show what you're worth and show what you can do. And yeah, we got to get back in the trenches. So here we go. 15 fastest ways to a client. I saw the name of your theme, Todd, is about, adjusting to the changing market. And it's funny because it's a constant adjustment. It's a constant changing market. It's for COVID. Oh my God. Oh wait, here comes COVID. COVID kicked ass. We're on fire. Oh my God, they just raised the rates. It's all over the place. So it's constantly changing. So these are the tried and true things that we need to do as business professionals to make sure that we are getting buyers and getting sellers. So here we go. Number 15 is complete client profiles. Now, what do I mean by that? I always say that I'll ask my agents, hey, show me, how many agents do you have in your A+ database, right? People that would potentially use you. And they'll, check, I got 75. All right, cool. Let me see them. Oh, well, I gotta, and I'm like, wait a minute. To me, they don't count as a client unless I have their phone number, their address, their email, their Instagram handle, their Facebook, all of those different details. And the reason is because you guys as agents, your marketing plan should be hitting on all of these things. Your marketing plan is not just making posts on Instagram. It's not just dropping something off at their house. It's all of those things. But how am I going to mail them a holiday card, guys, if I don't have their address and I only have their cell phone number? How am I going to ever send them a happy Thanksgiving text if all I have is their Instagram and their Facebook contact? I don't have their phone numbers. So by reaching out and having a complete client profile, number one, you're going to allow them to be put into your all levels of your marketing system. But more importantly, by doing that, you're actually reminding them that you are in the business. So just by asking these questions, you're reminding them. So these are the basic things to a complete profile. I'm sure you guys are all aware of this, but I just had to remind you because, again, we've been on a nice roller coaster ride for the last 2 years. So we got to get back on it. When I say slide into their DMs, you guys get that? Here's a perfect example. It could be like, again, I got my thing, hi, Dan, I'm sending out contact information for my favorite people. Hey, could you please message me your email and home address? I have good info I want to send you regarding this crazy real estate. Thanks again, and say hi to Valerie for me. The reason that I'm doing this is because you have people that when I go online, when I go onto my Instagram account here, like, why is she coming up? Why are these people coming up in my stories? What is happening? What's happening is these people are doing homework on me. They're researching me. They're checking my social media. They're doing all that sort of stuff. So they are already checking me out. That's why they're coming up at the top of my my algorithm, top of my Instagram, top of my Facebook. So you have a responsibility. When you see somebody coming up at the top of any of your media sources, you need to reach out to them immediately and ask them for their contact information, because they could be looking you up for a buy, for a sell, for whatever, maybe for a date. I don't know, who knows, but whatever, they're looking you up. That's the bottom line, right? So make sure that you are sending something out. And by me asking this question, I have good info I want to send you regarding this crazy real estate market. I'm not asking them for business, but I am reminding them that I am a real estate professional and that I am here. So here's number 14, updating your social media info. And I was going to try to come out and make it out with Todd to Kansas City last year with COVID, and we just had issues and other stuff going on. But my passion, my hobby, the love of my life is social media. I love her. She is so good to me. She doesn't talk back when I'm talking. But I love the social media pieces because they are so powerful. So when I'm telling you guys to update your social media info, this is our online persona scorecard. So the question is, if I were looking you up, right? If I were looking you up and trying to decide who I want to use to list my house, and I go onto your Facebook account, do I have all these things here? Is your phone number immediately there? Is your photo the same across your Facebook, your Instagram, your Google, your LinkedIn? Is is your real estate, the fact that you are with Distinctive Properties, is it there? Does it show that I'm a real estate agent? Is realtor in my title? So there's all of these different things that you should have. So by updating all of your Instagrams and by updating your Facebooks and by updating your Googles, basically what you're doing is not only are you making sure that when they do Google you, that your information comes up, but more importantly, you are boosting yourself to the top of the algorithm, because every time you do any work on any of your social media, you are boosting your algorithm. So everyone in your, your sphere of social media, your Instagram crew, they're all going to see you, because as you do work in there, you're going to show up in the top of their feed. So please, please take a look back at your Facebook, take a look back at your Instagram, take a look back at your Google and your LinkedIn. And I want you to answer this question. If I were looking for a listing agent, would I use you? And even more importantly than that, and I want you to really ask yourself this question, all right? Pretend I'm a psychologist right now. Would you use you? That's the question. So if I look you up on Instagram right now, and I have a nightmare story, Todd, of one of my top tenors, and he's about 63 years old. He went over to this millennial guy's house, and the guy was 30, he was selling a condo. And he gets there and the guy goes, hey, well, how skilled are you on Instagram? Tell me about your Instagram. He goes, oh, yeah, I'm on there. And he goes, oh, okay. Thanks, JP. Let's take a look. And he pulls up his Instagram right there on the listing appointment and starts going through all of his posts, start looking at his handle, starts looking at his description. You see over here, the reason I put Tara's up here, it's got her phone number. It's got what she does for a listing. It's got her link to her website so that they can look for property. It's got everything that you'd possibly need. And unfortunately, he goes, oh, okay, well, thanks for showing that to me, your Instagram to me. I appreciate that, JP. Have a good one. Shook his hand, he walked out, and the next day he listed with another millennial, because he doesn't know anything different. Old school shit doesn't work anymore, guys. It doesn't. If you show up with a listing book that's from you're in a manila folder, like, you're in trouble. If you're not showing up with Moxie, using the CBX format, showing exactly what areas, the buyers are coming from, and if they look you up on Facebook and Instagram, and if you're not dialed in, you are going to be a dinosaur. And I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for you guys. You have to take Facebook, Instagram, Google, and LinkedIn serious. If you don't, you're not going to make it. It's like not knowing math and English anymore. It's the truth. I mean, you have to know social media. Think as important as writing. It's that important. So sorry, Todd, I'm getting worked up. Sorry. All right, so I'll keep moving on. Okay, so again, here are some of the pages that you guys can look at, on how to maximize. This is her Instagram before. When we looked at her Instagram before, she literally got 1 point. She had glasses on. We couldn't tell, what her face looked like. I gave her 1 point from her photo, and it wasn't even clear. By the time we were done with her, you can see she has a clear professional photo. She has her phone number. She has her DRE. She has the link that she's a realtor here at Coldwell Banker. She has a mix in all of her posts, and we like to call it the top 9. If I ever come out to see you, Todd, I would do a class on the top 9, what to post and why. So when I log on to anybody right now, and when I go on to their stuff, the question is, what do I see in their top 9 photos? Is that the mix of the world that I want them to see? Is that explaining who Chuck Whitehead is and why you should use me? And I'm asking you the same question for yourself. So, obviously she has that score now. The next thing, one of my favorites, is social media polls. And hopefully you guys are all doing polls. That's another thing we do, Todd, another class. Social media polls are huge. And the reason that they're huge is because it gives me the warm and fuzzies, because it actually is asking for business. So I'm going to give you an example of a social media poll that I think would be a good idea for you guys as real estate agents. This is one of my agents, Leif. I'm sure you guys have something somewhere in your companies or in your offices that you know about properties that are coming soons. Coming soons are my favorite. This is one that he listed. So we took that photo, I saved it. Once I saved that photo, right, it was in my camera roll. I went in and I selected stories. I chose it. And you guys know right there's the poll button, right? So anytime I create a story, you just go down and you click poll, right? So I'm going to go here. I'm literally going to click create story with the box, and I'm going to choose a poll after I've picked that photo. And once I've done that, it asks you the question, and you can manipulate that question however you want. So this is the one, I want to see it first. I'm not interested. Call me. New listing in Marietta coming April 15th across the community pool and spa will go fast. This is just a perfect example of being direct, guys. And, a lot of us get in this habit of being passive. Oh, I'm going to do a mailer. Well, that's cool. And I do love mailers. And I'm a big fan of just listed cards. But what am I doing with this poll? With this poll, I am directly asking for business. Do you know anyone who might be looking for a good investment? Or are you looking for investment? I want to see it. I'm not interested, or call me now. I want this property. Now, if you post a property in Telluride or Grand Junction or a Steamboat that's coming up, and you put up this poll and somebody clicks on it that says, call me now, was it worth the 5 friggin' minutes it took you to make this poll? The answer to that is yes. So the question is, I'm not just asking you to put out hooks. I'm asking you to like cast it right in. I mean, literally directly ask. Now, am I going to ask for business all the time? No, I'm going to have a constant mix, right? So that mix is going to be personal. Hey, look how great I am, and look, I'm having fun. Here I am fishing, here I am doing this. By the way, want to buy a house? And then I'll be like, oh, here I am. I went to the freaking Padre game. Oh, they lost. You want to buy a house? So it's like, you have to make your stuff so entertaining that they want to follow you. But secondly, you have to not be a pansy, and you have to be willing to just flat out put out the hooks. So right now, when I say 15 quickest way to get to a client, this is only number 13. That's how important I think this one is. It's in the top 15, but we're going to get really aggressive right now. Okay, really aggressive. So here we go. Number 12, ask for reviews. That's one of the most important things that you guys can possibly do, because most people are never getting past the first page of Google. They're just not. And they're finding you on Google. If they're not super close, super tight friends with you on Instagram and Facebook, they're going to hit you up there. Let me ask you guys this. If you were on a dating site, you're on Match.com or Plenty of Fish or whatever stuff you're doing, would you do your homework on that person? And what's the first thing you would do on that person, guys? You would Google them. I guarantee you'd Google them, right? So knowing you would Google them, they're Googling you, right? So when they Google you, are you coming up on the right side of the page? Do you have reviews? Do you have all of your information complete? If not, you're going to get smoked by a millennial that will. And so again, sorry, Todd, I get a little excited about this stuff, but it works. It's real, right? Number 11 is wearing apparel and name tag. I mentioned at the Phoenix Gem Blue event, and I'll never forget this story, guys. I was at a coaching session. I coached my kids' football teams for their whole careers, and I was in eighth grade. My kid was in 8th grade, getting ready to go to high school, and I'm walking across the field in my last practice because I knew we were going to lose and weren't going to make it to the playoffs. That's okay. And I was having a moment, right? And I'm sitting there with one of my assistant coaches, and he works for the Justice Department. We're walking across the field, I'm looking out, and we're sitting there talking. And when you coach, guys, football or any sports, or you're a team mom, you guys know you spend so much time with those parents and so much time with those coaches that they're like blood brothers and blood sisters. So we're walking across the field, and he looks over at me and he goes, "Hey, Chuck, I got a question for you." And I go, "Yeah, man." And he goes, "What do you do for a living?" And I was like, oh shit, you did not just ask me that. You did not just ask me that question. I had assumed that he knew what I did, right? Now, my assistant coach that coaches the offensive line was a lender. So he used to show up in his shirts running across the field, with his American Financial embroidered shirt on all the time. "Oh, I'm late." I'm like, "Dude, I just saw you at the coffee shop. You've been sitting there for 30 minutes. You were late." He wore his apparel to practice, rolled up the sleeves just to make sure that the parents knew that he did loans. So you guys have to make sure, and what my suggestion to you is keep your name badge in your cup holder, in your car, every day. Keep it there. When you get in your car, you put it on. When you get home at night, you can take it off. No sooner, but I'm at the grocery store. Yeah, we're aggressive. We like money, right? Who likes money, right? You wear that name tag. You wear that Coldwell Banker Distinctive Property shirts, anything you can do, the hats, everything to let people know what you do. You are a walking, talking billboard. And I don't want you to, what happened to me to happen to you, to be walking across that field and that guy me ask what I do. And I mentioned this, but he said, "Oh, you're a realtor." I said, "Yeah." And he goes, and I said, "Yeah, we sell homes." And he goes, "That's so funny. I just listed my house last week." And I'm like, "Of course you did." He goes, "Yeah, we bought over in Bear Creek for $950. It's contingent. We got to get this house sold." I'm like, "Oh, good." So not only did I lose that sale and the one that he bought, but I lost his brother, his sister, his mom, his dad. Don't let that happen to you guys. Be a walking, talking billboard that you sell real estate. Okay. So that's number 11. Let's keep going. Number 10, social media posting. And I'm talking about consistency. And let me see it. Sorry. And this is a whole class in itself, Todd, but you have to make sure, my personal opinion is that you are posting at least 2 stories a day, at least 2. I would prefer to see 5, but at least 2 stories a day and at least 2 posts a week, especially you guys. I'm talking to you guys specifically. We are the worst. You have to post. If you don't post for a week or two, you're dropping out of the algorithm. You know how far I'm going to have to get to you? Like this girl, why is she coming up first? Because she's all over my stuff. It's a just sold. You go to the next one. Why are they coming up first? Because she's all over my stuff and she's posting constantly. I mean, all of these guys are realtors that are making it happen because they are consistent in their posts. The minute you stop posting, then you're in big trouble now. And it's not just posting, guys. It's good quality posts. Don't ever post a house without a picture in it. Don't ever post a house without a picture. And you're going to get 2 likes. It's going to be your mom and it's going to be Todd. Okay, those are the 2 likes that you guys are going to get, right? And the reason is because you've already dropped out of everybody else's algorithm because you showed a house last week that nobody cares about. Now, if I show a house, nobody's going to like it. But if I show a house with me out front, all right, people are going to like it. That's what I want to see you guys do. Like mix in your real estate agent, your real estateness with your personality. Then put the house in back. Don't post a house. So it's not just about being consistent. It's about being effective in what you're posting. And here's what I want to suggest to you guys when this is over. And I know you guys are all taking notes. So here's what I want you to do. All right. And I can see a bunch of you guys. So you better write this down. What you need to do is you need to spend some time this afternoon after your guys' business planning is done. And I want you to go through your phone and I want you to go through your Instagram and I want you to figure out which posts are kicking ass and which posts suck. Because that's going to tell you what your clientele, what your sphere, what your people like. So I want you to go back in there. I want you to pull up yourself and I want you to go through all of your photos and go, this one bombed. Why? This one killed. Why? Because if you post things with 2 likes, you're going to drop down so far in everybody in your sphere's algorithm that they're never going to see you again, right? So that's just one of the things I wanted you to keep in mind. Number 9, pop buys. I really don't have to say, this is the only one, by the way, guys, the only one that you don't use from your phone. Every other one of these, you can run your entire business for your phone with the exception of pop buys, which is why we need their addresses. Pop buys are powerful. So knowing that Thanksgiving is coming up, I don't know if you guys are dropping off cheesecakes. I don't know, if what you're doing for your clients or if it's their birthday or you drop something off on, you drop off Super Bowl schedules or what, but it's important to drop something off on people's porches. I've always done See's candy at Christmas. I like that and I don't like it because I don't like it because they eat it and it's gone. But at the same time, it gives me something that I can take a picture of that See's candy on their porch. And then I can text them and say, hey, Todd, it's Chuck. Didn't want to bug you. Just wanted to let you know I left you and the family a little present on your porch. Hope you have a fantastic holiday season. Just something so that you can snap them a picture, let them know that you care, right? And make sure that you are highlighting it and reminding them that you are in real estate. So pop buys are extremely important, at least 1 to 2 days a year. And Todd, if anybody has any questions and wants to stop me, man, they're more than welcome. Okay. If you guys have any questions at all, let me know. I know I talk fast.
No, it's good. You guys just use the chat box and we'll get them in there.
Okay, perfect. And I can't see those on this computer, Todd. Okay, number 8 is keeping in touch. And I can see all the people in the Kansas City office specifically the most on my computer right now. So I have a question. And I want you to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you, Todd. All right, so here's what I want to know. How many of you guys have sold a house in the last 2 years and have not talked to them since? Raise your hand if you've sold a house in the last 2 years and not talked to them since. You Kansas City people, I'm so proud of you guys. No one raised their hand. So that's fabulous. Aside from you guys who are amazing, who talk to your clients all the time, we have a problem that agents are guilty of getting that sale and disappearing and not keeping in contact. If you can keep in contact with them, it's going to pay off because you're constantly reminding them. I'm not asking you to call them and ask for business. I mean, once in a while you can, but I'm calling them just to check in. How you liking the house? How did the neighborhood work out? Is Johnny adjusting to the school? Blah, 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 whatever. Just a reason so that they can hear your voice. And remember, I sell real estate and I love you. You're fabulous. I'm really lucky that you worked with me. So that's number 8. Number 7. E-contact systems, your farm and your sphere. And I'm not just saying this. I have been with Coldwell Banker for my whole career. I have been with Coldwell Banker for 27 years. And I can honestly say, and I would put my word on it, that I'm going to give you a positive and negative. I hated Zap. I thought that the Zap platform for me was difficult. We had a lot of problems with our installation. I was not happy. This new system, the Moxie system and the e-contact system that's in there, Moxie Impress and Moxie Engage, are the greatest systems I have ever seen in any form of real estate everywhere. I don't care about Chime. And I'm sorry, Todd, if you know, I don't know if you guys have had your install yet, but I don't care about Chime. I don't care about Elevated Network. I don't care about anything. The Moxie system that Coldwell Banker offers you for free is the best system I have ever seen in my career. And when I go all over the place, I'm actually preaching this one because, you know, when you take a listing, right, and you have Moxie, immediately within 15 minutes, I get a full list. I get my social media pieces, my just solds. I get my single property website. I get my flyers. I get my brochures emailed to me for free automatically within 15 minutes of putting my listing in the MLS. You can't touch that. Nowhere. And I don't have to do anything. It's all done and prepared for me. All I got to do is put my crazy picture on the front and upload it to the MLS. But if you are not optimizing the Moxie system or some system that when you take a listing, it's automatically emailing out to your sphere, my new listing, price reduction, just sold, you know, all those, or whatever system you guys are using, it's important that you are digitally keeping in contact with them. And we're getting back to where I started, guys. Popeyes, I need their address. Digital, I need their email. Cell phone, I need them to get my texts. Instagram, I need them to see my posts. All of those sorts of things. So it is a layered cake approach to what we need to be doing. And it's not complicated. I'm going to show you a calendar so that you can reach all those pieces, because it's overwhelming when I say all those things at once, but it doesn't have to be if you have the right system. And I'm going to show you. So
number 6. I have to interrupt you. Hold on one second. So before I get all the messages,
yes.
Moxie is in process. Some of our offices have them, and the rest are getting them.
It will be worth the wait. We just started our install, Todd, like I think the 17th. And we know hands down, it's going to take us until April to have the install done. I mean, it's going to take us 6 or 7 months. But let me tell you guys, you know, go to your leadership and try to be one of the people that can be the first ones to install. And there are so many classes through coldwellbanker.com, guys, or through the CBU and all that you can go to that, you know, you can learn this yourself. And once you get into the program, it's a joke how easy it is. Like once you get in, and I don't expect you to learn the whole thing, but the little things here and there. I mean, you don't, all you got to be is sign on to the system and you get all that free marketing pieces right out of the gate. It's what we pay for as a franchise. It's why I'm with Coldwell Banker and why Todd is. We could be any franchise we want. We could be with Keller Williams. We could be with EXP. We could be with Century 21. We could be with anybody. I'm here for those tools. And I'm here for that name. And so make sure that in your 6-month plan, do not neglect Moxie. And right now, with the slow up in the market, this is the time for you to be logging into CB Desk, learning how to use List Track, learning how to use Buyer Locator. Sharpen your pencils right now. Use this downtime on your own to jump into CB Desk and learn some of these tools. I mean, Todd, do you guys use List Track very much? Do you know? Can I mention it?
Yep.
Okay, so List Track, for example, if you go into CB Desk and I log into List Track is going to show you every single view that I have had on any of my properties, and you can forward that to your seller automatically. It's going to have, you know, exactly how many people looked at it at Zillow in the last 30 days, exactly how many people looked at it through Trulia in the last 30 days, how many people through the MLS looked at it. Like those CB Desk tools are super potent. And I would love to come out too, Todd, if you guys ever need it, and just work with you guys on some of those tools, because anything for the distinctive family, man, you guys are fabulous. So, and I know it takes a little while to get this stuff installed, but sharpen your pencils. This is the time. The next thing is that I want to ask you guys is everyone has their hobbies. Some of you guys love Little League. You know, you have kids in Little League. Some of you have nieces and nephews that are doing it. Some of you guys love the Adopt-A-Pet. Some of you guys work in animal shelters. Some of you work in the chamber. Some of you work through Rotary International. Whatever it may be, I'm going to ask you guys to be a leader. And the reason that you want to be a leader is, and you don't want to just be the leader, you want to be the communications officer. You want to be the one that, so when I sign off, I say, you know, Chuck Whitehead, Coldwell Banker ABR, you know, and so by doing that, on my email signatures through the contact, I've got their phone numbers, I've got their emails. It's like a dream come true for real estate. It's the smorgasbord of opportunities for all of us, right, guys? As a leader, because we're gonna get all the contact information and tell people what we do. Here's another hint. 2 things. Number 1, let's say that the uniforms come in and I'm the team mom. Well, I can give them to you Saturday, an hour before the pictures, you know, at the Little League, you know, pictures day. Or if you can swing by my office here in Kansas City, here's the address. I can give it to you Thursday afternoon. I'll be there. So I can either give it to you Saturday right before the game, or you can swing by my office and we'll give it to you right there. And then they come into your office, they look around, I'm looking at the pictures of your office, like the cool light fixtures and the colors you guys got going there. You should be bringing everybody you possibly can into your office to, number one, show off the office that you have, but number two, show them what you do. So make sure that you are having people come into the office. Third, and I mentioned there, second, I mentioned this in Phoenix, is how many of you guys are giving out thank you gifts, when the closing gifts when it closes? Hopefully all of you guys are. They're like, oh, well, I do that. Well, that's fabulous. But let me ask you this. Are you having it sent to their house? Because that's a mistake. I want you to send it to their office. And what I mean is in a big giant box that's this big with a big bow on it. They open it up, it's a $100 Amazon card. I don't care. But you want to do something, a big thing of flowers, whatever, to make sure that when everybody's walking around their office, they're going, who sent you the flowers? Oh, well, my realtor did. Oh, well, that's pretty cool. My realtor didn't give me shit. You know what I mean? So you want to be the realtor that's bringing in the flowers, right? So that you can make sure that you can kind of rub it into everybody else. But most importantly, make your client look good and let them know that you're working with somebody cool. So when I'm saying be a leader, take advantage of those opportunities to have them come into the office, to get their contact information, and to be a leader out front and somebody that you can show off your dazzling personality, right? So, all right, here we go. Number 5. Like, comment, and DM. And I know for those of you guys who have hung out with me before, you know that I'm notorious for that. And what I mean is, I'm going to get harsh with everybody, Todd, and some of you guys have heard this before, but if I go online, if I go onto my Instagram right now, and here I am in my Instagram, and I see that this person right here, this Steve Black, who's doing his best to, give a speech. Then I'll go on to this person that's talking about the weather right now out of their house. If you go by anyone on Instagram or Facebook, and Todd, you've heard me say this, and you don't like their stuff, and if you don't comment on their stuff, here's what I want you to say. That person is dead to me. I don't ever want to see them again. I want them out of my life. So if I scroll past somebody and I don't like it, and I don't comment on it, I never want to see them again. I want them gone. I want them out of my feeds. I want them out of my life permanently. You might as well delete them because they're never going to see you anymore. Because what happens is the minute you don't like them, the minute you don't comment on them, the minute you don't reach out to them with a DM, you are dropped off of their algorithm forever. Okay. And your job is to stay out front. So when I say like, comment, and DM, I am asking you guys to actively spend 15 to 30 minutes every day going on and actually engaging with your clients. Now, you can love other realtor stuff, but if you do, you're going to be at the top of their feeds. That's not what we're necessarily looking for. Now, I do believe you should follow realtors with good social media and hijack some of their stuff, especially people from other parts of the country. But I'm interested in making sure that my clients see me first. And I've always joked that, when somebody puts a picture of their cat in a Santa hat, you're like, what in the hell? But the bottom line is, if they posted it, it was important to them. Does that make sense, guys? If they posted it, it was important that that person that showed the weather, they're looking for a comment. If I comment back and go because it's raining here in California today, which is why the power's out, Todd. First rain in like 6 months and the power goes out because I'm California, right?
It's power and nobody remembers how to drive. I know.
Well, I mean, everybody here is like, it's because it's voting day. Everybody, they're trying to get us not to vote. They're trying to control us. But whatever, who knows? But the bottom line in all this, guys, is I just want to make sure that you are not letting your clients go by because it's your job to stay at the top of their feed. But let me say this again. By commenting, and DMing their stuff, you're going to stay at the top of the feed. But if I'm posting junk, it doesn't matter. You have to post some exciting stuff, some interesting stuff, or you're going to drop anyway. And if you're not posting, you're going to stay at the top of the feed for what? For you to post nothing? You're not even going to be there. So that's why you got to be active with this stuff. All right. So let me keep charging here. Number 4, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, Todd. Well, let me keep going with this. When you do message someone or when you do comment, so like let's say, because I'm watching Todd's Tip Tuesdays right now, right? When you're doing these on Tuesdays, Todd. So when I'm looking at his stuff, if I go to make a comment on Todd's stuff, if I only make 3 words, it's not going to raise me to the top of the algorithm. If I comment 4 words on Todd's Tip Tuesday, then what's going to happen is I'm going to immediately go up to the top of his feed for like a week. So whenever you're commenting on anybody's post, 4-word minimum to make sure that the algorithm keeps you at the top. 3 no, 2 no, 1 no, 4. By doing that, I can make sure that when they log on, I'm at the top. So also the important thing is when I do hit up Todd, I'm gonna be like, hey Todd, because the last one he shot was in his car, right? I'm gonna be like, dude, what kind of car is that? I mean, I love the stitching or whatever. when you ask a question and when he comes back to me, now we're conversing online and we're actually having a conversation inside of the social media. By doing that, I'm going to be at his top of feed for like 10 days, right? Because they know that Todd and I have a connection. So just remember that your goal is a conversation, because to me, guys, a conversation is a conversion. Does that make sense? A conversation is a conversion. So make sure that you're using those 4 words. So hopefully that's helpful for you. So that's number 3, Todd. Number 5. Number 4, go to everything you're invited to. And this is my motto for the year. And so that's why I was at Gen Blue, and it worked out really good. I mean, I met a bunch of people. We got some leads. You know, I mean, my agents loved it. Everywhere you get the opportunity to be invited to, you need to go, because you never know who you're going to meet. Do I want to go to a couple's baby shower? No. Am I going to go? Yes. And every time I do, I'm happy. And I can guarantee you this right now, and I'm looking at you, Kansas City. Are you happy that you already logged on to Distinctive's business planning today? Are you happy you're here? Good. I can see you, and I see your hands going up, right? All you guys, good. The reason that that's important is because you owe it to yourself. We don't want to do things. We want to be lazy. We don't want to show up at stuff. But have you guys gotten a couple tips already today? You guys are going to crush it. I mean, I guarantee you use a couple of these things and all the other stuff Todd's got lined up for you guys, and you're just going to kill it. So go to everything you're invited to. And you know what? Wear that Coldwell Banker Distinctive Properties apparel. Let people know that you're a realtor. Wear your name badge. Don't be shy. Let people know what you do. You don't have to walk around saying, I sell real estate, I sell real estate. But if you have apparel,
Hi, this is Allie.
Hi, Allie.
Hello. Hello.
Hi. How are you? Oops. Okay, Allie Rosenberg, I'm going to pick on you now. All right. So that being the case, guys, it's just important that you go to everything, because remember, everywhere I go is about growing my sphere, because the people that I meet at that baby shower, I'm adding to my database. And I'm going to ask them the magic question, you know, as we get into the conversation. By the way, who sold you your house? Oh, it was Allie, I don't know, what was it? Mine. You're mine, right? The fact that you don't remember your agent, you're mine. I'm adding you to my database. You know what? And just out of curiosity, just real quick, would you mind if I grabbed your number? I'm going to send you my contact information in case you ever have any questions about real estate. Is that cool? So let me send you my contact card, right? What did I just do? I just got their phone number. That thing is worth its weight in gold. I got their phone number and they have my contact card, so that on Mondays and Fridays when I update my database, now I can go back and I can update them and add them to my database. I already know that they didn't remember the real estate agent's name. You're mine. Have you guys seen Wedding Crashers? I'll find you. I mean, I'm going to get you. Once I find out that your agent has dropped the ball and is not keeping in contact, you're mine, sucker. So anyways, okay, so there's number 4, going to everything you're invited to. Number 3, texting. The most important, powerful, king of all media things that you can possibly be doing with your phone is texting. And I want to talk to you about texting on a personal level, and I want to talk to you about texting on a business level. So here's what I mean. First off, let's just start out with a business text. Now, business texts don't work unless I have been texting them personal. And so for my social media kind of recipe, I believe it should be personal, personal, business. Personal, personal, business. It's the same with texting. Personal, personal, business. So I'm going to start out though with a business text that I would be sending out to Todd. So if I'm looking and I live in Steamboat and I know Todd's on my client list, here's the text that I would send him today. Hi, Todd, help. We have a young couple looking for anything around 800,000 in Steamboat. We've seen everything on the market. Could you let me know if you have any friends who may be looking to sell? Say hi to Shannon and be safe. Smiley face. Now, let me ask you guys the question. Was that aggressive? Did that look like I'm being super salesy, or am I asking for their help? So by me reaching out to Todd, right, and saying, help, we have a young couple looking for anything around 800,000 in Steamboat. We've seen everything on the market. Could you let me know if you have any friends who may be looking to sell? Say hi to Shannon. It was personal. I said, say hi to Shannon. I basically let them know that I am in real estate, and it's all of the factors that need to be in that recipe where you're not saying, do you want to buy a house? It's me saying, do you know anybody? Just out of curiosity. So hopefully you guys like that one. If you do, great. If you don't, you have a problem, and we'll figure that out. All right. So next we've got the personal texts. Here's one that I put together for Thanksgiving. If you do not send this out for Thanksgiving, I am going to kill you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to be very upset. All right. I'm going to all the way from California. You're going to feel my vibe because I talk to people all the time and I say, well, hey, how many things did you send out for, for Halloween? Did you text your top 30, and say something along the lines of like, hey, Todd, this is Chuck. Just wanted to say happy Halloween. And I had a scary thought. You buying real estate from someone other than me, and you send a little scary pic, right? So hopefully all of you guys text out your at least top 25 people on Halloween. This is one for Thanksgiving. Hi, Todd, happy Thanksgiving. And since it's Thanksgiving, I wanted to send out a special thanks to you personally for always supporting my career and personal life. I hope you, Shannon, and the boys have an awesome day. I'm not asking for business. I'm just letting Todd sincerely know that he is on my mind, that I care about him, that I know that he has boys, and that I actually care. So you guys, I'm asking you personally to text your top 25 or your top 35 and ask them, and don't ask them for business, just specifically say, I just wanted to say thanks for keeping me in mind and for always supporting me in my business. It means a lot. Have an awesome day with the family. Now, let me ask you guys this. Would you get any juice off of sending out 50? Do you think you'd get any business off of sending this text to 50 people? That's my question for you.
Oh, no, of course not.
No, of course not. Of course not. It's a waste of time, but I'm just trying to give you stuff so you don't have to look like that aggressive salesy person, Todd. You know what I mean? Like people don't want to come in and constantly be just flat out, anybody wants to sell a house, with commission breath. I'm saying, hey, I love you. I'm here. And then in my business text, I'm saying, could you help me out, bro? That's it. So that is number 3. Just being friendly. Here we go. We're down to number 2, Todd. Now it's getting to the nitty gritty, man. The stuff that's going to make you guys crush it. All right. I was sitting in, well, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Here is my new favorite. And I don't know if like you guys are all still mask crazy and you guys are dealing with all that stuff out there. If you are, hey, I totally understand. And if you got sick people, I'm great. But let me tell you, COVID has chilled a lot here in Southern California. Rarely, I'd probably say, Todd, maybe 2 out of 100 are wearing masks now. If you go to the baseball games, the Padre games, they are sold out with, 30,000 people behind them waiting to get into that game. So the bottom line is it has changed. It is a social environment again. So what are you doing to get yourself back out there? These guys they're dying for something to do, somewhere to go, and somebody to hang out with. So here it is. Number 2, my number 2 favorite thing for you guys to be doing, it's housewarming parties. So my question is, the last house you guys sold, right? You represented a buyer. You sold him a house. Now, what if I followed up with this? Hey, Todd, this is Chuck. First off, man, are you liking the house? Is everything cool? Okay, great. I got a big favor, man. I want you to know how much I appreciate you, and I want to sponsor the taco truck for your housewarming party. Can I do that for you, man? And when are you thinking about doing it? In 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I want to sponsor that taco truck for you, man, because I want you to know how great it was to work with you and how much I appreciate you. Is that cool? So would you like to do it next Saturday or the following Saturday? So what did I just do? I told Todd I love him. And not only that, I'm going to bring a taco truck. I'm going to be there, right? And I am going to make best friends with every single one of Todd's clients, of Todd's friends. So I am it's a plethora. It's like just everything I ever wanted in my life, a whole handful of clients with Todd telling people that they love me. And did their real estate agent get them a taco truck and throw him a housewarming party? Nope. Did you? You're damn right you did. You know why? Because you're a badass. So anyways, I just want to suggest that you guys consider throwing some form of a housewarming party, but it's $500. Check in the market's tight. You know what? Stop being a cheap ass. Spend some money on your business. This is a place that'll work. Okay, sorry. Number 1, Todd, here it comes. You guys ready? Everybody sit down. Do we know what it is? I'm sitting in, you'll love this story, Todd. I'm sitting in the Gen Blue, right? And we're talking about this particular item. And I said, how many people in this room have been in the business less than a year? 9 people raised their hand. Back in the corner, there's one. I just randomly picked one girl and I said, okay, you right there, that girl. I said, how long have you been in the business? I've been in there for 11 months. And I said, and how many open houses are you sitting a week right now? She said 6. She's sitting 6 open houses a week, Todd. And I said, awesome. And I said, and how many escrows do you have? How many transactions do you currently have under contract right now? 10. Less than a year in the business. This rookie has 10 deals in escrow and is still sitting in open house for at least 3 hours a day. Now, there are rookies on this call that are going to eat your lunch because guess what? You're fat and happy. You've been sitting back, cashing checks and doing everything that you can. And just now all of a sudden you're starting to get a little panic, but you still got a few bucks left. So you're like, I'm still okay. Look to your company and look at the top producing newbies and do what they do. They don't know any different. They came into this market and they're hustling. You have to do the same thing. And that's why open houses are always where it's at. You could drop me in Steamboat. I'd immediately come work for Todd. And when I'm in Steamboat, I'd sit 5 open houses a week until I had at least 8 escrows going. That would be my whole goal, Todd. And I guarantee you, dude, I could do it inside of 4 months. You guys that are sitting 1 open house every 4 or 5 months, or every 4 or 5 weeks, and you're crying that your business isn't kicking butt, it's because you're not doing them all the time. If you want to make it, you need to be sitting 2 weeks, but I'm not going to sit one on a Wednesday. Why not? A buyer that is coming to visit you on a Wednesday is a serious buyer. And I want to give Todd, and I know I'm starting to run over, but can I give a few hints on open houses? All right. So some of the things that I think are important for open houses. Number one, the number of signs that you put out will equal the number of groups that you will have through your home. So if I put out 3 signs, I'll get 3 groups. If I put out 5 signs, I'll get 5 groups. If I put 10, most likely I'm going to get 10 groups. So open house signs are key. Front of the properties, back of the properties, way into the property over here. This street, you can also get into this way. You can get into this way, whatever. Just load it up with open house signs. Number 2, and this is the best part, guys. This is where all these other agents that aren't you are lazy right now. Because, oh, Thanksgiving's coming and Christmas is coming and I don't have to work. I'm going to chill. This is the time, man. This is the time to put the pedal to the metal. Why is it the time to put the pedal to the metal? Because a buyer that comes through an open house right now is worth 5 buyers that come through on a nice sunny day. People that are looking for properties during the holidays are serious. You want those people. Those are legitimate buyers. And let me tell you, don't let Mr. Seller tell you that I'm going to pull it off, until we're done with the holidays. BS, Mr. Seller. Number 1, time is not your friend. Number 2, the buyers that we get that are going to come through right now are gold. We need to get that property up during the holidays because that's the time when the serious people are out. The next thing, but they go out to open houses, and I don't know if you guys get this, all you managers on the call, but they come up to me and they're gonna be like, Chuck, you're not gonna believe it. I had such a successful open house. And be like, well, what happened, dude? What happened? And they're like, I gave out 10 cards today. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Well, how many cards did you collect? How many people did you get their information? Well, none, but they'll call me. And I'm literally like, what the fuck? I have to control myself. I'm like, they're not going to call you, dude. Our job at open houses is to collect information, not to give out my cards. They're not going to call you guys. So, a lot of you guys have these issues too. Like they never call me and I'm upset, or you get a couple people's info, but they never follow up. Now, here's my favorite thing to do. And if you guys have ever, and I do have a book, Todd, it's called 11 Commandments Real Estate Sales, but if you guys read it, one of the things I talk about is the root beer float method. And the root beer float method is before I ever go out and sit in an open house, I make sure that I have a couple bottles of root beer and I make sure that I have a couple little half gallons of vanilla ice cream and some cups and spoons. And then when people come in, normally what happens, hey, could you want me to show you around the house? No, we're just looking, peasant real estate agent. But what if you go like this? Hey, kids, you guys want a root beer float? Yay, right? And then what happens? The kids are like, let's go, and the parents are like, oh shit, and then they're following you into the kitchen. You got them, right? So here's what happened. You walk over to the freezer, so opening the lid, you get your scooper. Where are you guys from? And then you're scooping in a thing. Oh, so how long have you been looking? Oh, really? Well, now, do you have anything you have to sell? Okay, well, hang on a minute. So kids, do you guys want a little bit or a lot? Whatever. And then so what am I doing? By doing something like the root beer float method, guys, it gives me the opportunity to build a relationship with those people. If I get the time, and you can use all of your guys' dazzling personalities, then what's going to happen? You're going to be able to build that relationship. And that's the key. I go on all these open houses and yet they never call me. Well, guess what? Did that last realtor at the open house give your kid a root beer float? Nope. All right. So it's, and you have to be a little bit careful with that, right? Because you don't want to step on any toes. But it's not being pushy. It's just a way for you to have an opportunity to have these conversations with people. The other thing I want to say is don't have your open houses in bum F Egypt. Okay, because it's really important that you guys make sure that you try to get relatively main thoroughfare properties. Because if you got to take a left and a take a right, take a left and a take a right, and a take a left and take a right, they're not going to show. Make it easy. Sit the high profile properties, because once you get them through the door, your dazzling personality and the root beer floats are going to get them. So just a couple of ideas for open houses. So again, my advice to you guys, sorry, you got to get off your butt. You got to start sitting an open house or two, at least one a week, because I know you guys want to all be winners, and that's what it's going to take to do it. So there was number one. Okay, so just a couple more things, and this is what Todd was talking about before that I'm like a nut about, and so it sounds overwhelming, right? Because you have to text them. I have to make sure that I am doing pop buys occasionally. I have to make sure that my digital stuff is going out to them. I have to make sure that I am following their social media, that I'm liking, that I'm commenting, that I'm DMing, that my Google's up, that blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. So you have to kind of create a way to make sure that you are doing minimal tasks every day that are going to give you what I like to call the backbone of your business. And so this is our calendar, Todd. And this calendar is what we put out every single month for our company. And so, for example, I'm going to give you guys some examples up here on Small Business Saturday. So I'm just going to give you guys some examples. If you have a friend who is an electrician or a DJ or runs a taco shop, or something, on Saturdays, you should put your arm around him, grabbing a taco, saying, you know what, Mikey makes the best tacos in Telluride. And I had to send a shout out to this guy. He makes the best tacos, this dude right here. Now, what am I doing? I'm tagging his business and I'm tagging him. So by doing so, I'm supporting him, and I guarantee you, he will support you back. So by every other Saturday, which is on my calendar, highlighting one of my friends, hey, you know what? See this fan right here? Billy Bob hung this for me. Billy Bob's Electrical is the absolute best business ever. They hung this for me in 2 hours. Love you, Bobby, or whatever. So by highlighting a different business every other Saturday, by you supporting them, they will support you. And when you tag them, you get to be in front of their social media audience. And you send them a text first, hey man, I'm highlighting your business today. Just want to let you know how much I appreciate you. That's it. You're done. You're out. That is your whole job for Saturday. Can you do that? Just take a picture of a freaking light fan with you in front of it and say, Billy Bob Electro, I love you. Done. It will pay off for the rest of your career. Another one would be sending 3 personal texts. We talk about that. So on the 15th, for example. Another one would be texting your top 15 on Thanksgiving, or your top 25 on Thanksgiving Day. Hey, Todd, this is Chuck. I know it's Thanksgiving, so I wanted to take this time to thank you for always supporting my business. Hope you, Shannon, and the kids have a great day. Chuck. Done. 25 people. Can you do that? Will it pay off? You tell me. All right, so let's see another one. Requesting 2 reviews. I am a fanatic about you guys requesting your Google reviews. But again, if you don't have your Google set up properly, and if it is not dialed in with lots of photos, and a nice bio and your phone numbers and your details and your links and all that sort of stuff, then it doesn't matter. You need to set up your Google, but hopefully you've already done that. And you have your shared link that you can do that, right? So another thing, on Wednesdays, we suggest, 2 reviews. Whenever you see these red ones here, Todd, I'm talking about like, commenting, and DMing for 15 minutes. So every day, if you'll notice, that's on here every day. I do not give one day off for like, commenting, DMing. When you're watching your Netflix, all right, when you're watching, Jon Snow run around, or, you're watching whatever it is, all you got to do is go on your phone. By doing this, while you're watching TV, and you go, why are you always on your phone? Honey, I'm working. You're working and watching Netflix. On social media, watching Netflix. It's a good night, right? But so just make sure that you're being intentional with your Instagram, right? That you are intentional when you're on your Facebook. You're looking at who you're commenting, you're using 4 words, and you're asking questions. Let me see if I have any more. When you see the blue ones on this calendar, those are the national days, highlight days. Like, for example, the 16th is National Fast Food Day. Even if I was a billionaire, this is a true story. Even if I was a billionaire, I'd still be eating my soft taco supremes from Taco Bell, whatever, right? So it's just important that you are posting something. Chuck, I don't know what to post. It's right here. You can go on and get these national calendars of holidays anywhere, right? So that would be an example of something to post. So all these different days, National Authors Day, I love, the Paul Coelho. I love his book, The Alchemist. So I'm just going to highlight that book for that day. My favorite author, one of them. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Kiyosaki, whatever, right? Just make sure that you're putting your face in a picture of a book, point at the author. So I got to do for that day. Social media personal post, that's what I'm talking about too. Like, some of these are going to be personal, some of these are business. The small business post that's a business post. Hopefully you guys that are in Kansas City right now, You're all taking a picture saying, you know, hanging with my homies, learning the best in the business so that I can serve my clients better. That's a business post, taking a picture with you in that awesome office in the back, right? So just things like that. Sending 3 ask for business texts, you know, and I don't think I did any of the, oh, I did, Todd, right? That was, hey, Todd, this is Chuck. I need your help. I have some friends looking in Steamboat up to 800,000. We've seen everything on us. Do you know anybody who may be looking to sell? So that's the business text. But if you notice, send 3 texts. Your homework for one day, 3 texts and a post. Can you handle that? But it's more than many agents are doing now. More than many agents are doing now. So Todd, I'm not here to pitch anything, but I do have that coaching thing where I go on every day for 4 to 5 minutes and I go over the daily tasks. And I'm not trying to pitch that, but if you guys ever want to go to chuckwhiteheadshow.com, you can check it out, whatever. So here's my link. I brought this for everybody, Todd. If you guys want to walk up to the monitors, and if you guys want to just run your thing over your camera over this, everybody gets the November calendar if you'd like to have it. So it's got what to do on Veterans Day, whatever. So just walk up to the monitor, turn your camera, put it on there, and you guys can have the November calendar. Just my gift to you guys. Hopefully you can probably almost reach across the room, and just follow it for the rest of the month and watch you kick ass. But you owe me a favor, Todd. If they get a lead off of their personal text or their ask for business or their Google, you have to tell me that they got something in escrow. Or sorry, I don't know if you guys call it escrow. You got a transaction under contract, right? So there it is. A couple more things real quick. Don't worry about this, don't worry about this, don't worry about that, don't worry about that. Okay. Next, I mentioned the Google profile. This is the last thing I'm going to ask. Don't forget the importance of your Google profiles. Don't forget this. 70% of consumers believe that a 90-day or older profile is irrelevant. If I'm going to go to Hawaii, I'm not going to look at a review from 7 months ago. I'm going to look from a review that somebody did yesterday. When your clients are looking on whether or not they want to list with you, they are not going to look at stuff from 2 years ago. They're going to look at one that was yesterday or last week or last month. If you don't have any reviews that have been on there for the last 6 months, you're dropping the ball, guys. And last but not least, just remember that fresh reviews and you responding will keep you at the top of the Google algorithm. My girl, Lori Robinson, in my office, updates her Google once a week, has never spent $1 on Google. Anytime anybody Googles Canyon Lake, California real estate, she comes up first, and she has 8 closings in the last 12 months off Google just by updating her Google and responding to her clients' reviews. So that's that. And again, the front picture of your Google, make sure that it doesn't look like this. Don't let Google pick the front picture. This is Corey Bryant. Corey Bryant I asked her, she came and sat with me. I said, let's get you going right away. And she sent out this text. Hey, Chuck Whitehead, hope life is good. I'm texting you to ask for a Google review. I know we haven't done any real estate business yet, but I was hoping you would leave me a personal/professional reference. Was thinking about who I trust most to do this for me, and I thought of you. I appreciate it. And this is her picture, same picture that she has on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, right? So she's uniform across the board. And she sent this out to 100 people. And Todd, you're going to love this, dude. She had 36 people give her a review in one day. 36 people reviewed. And here's the kicker, guys. The amazing thing about Corey Bryant, guess how many real estate sales she's had in her career? 0. She has never sold a property. She came in on day 1 and she sent this out to everybody that she knows from past jobs, working at the dentist's office, blah, 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 and got 36 people to review you. I can when I get off work. Yes, of course, love. Yes, of course. Done. Love you, killer. Yes, I can absolutely do that for you. Flat out letting everybody know that she's in the business and bulking up her Google review account. Gives me the warm and fuzzies. It just does. All right. Last but not least, I'm asking you guys for a review. If you guys like this stuff, all I'm asking for you to do is put your camera over this. Once you do it, it'll automatically go to my Google page and give me a review. I do this because I love Todd, but I obviously, I'm always working on my calendar and my fun stuff too. All I'm asking for you guys is a few reviews. If you got something out of today, you owe me. So give me a review, guys. So there it is. Just put your camera on it and you can just post whatever you want. If you want to say nice, wonderful things, that'd be great. If you're going to give me a 1-star, all right, Todd, you don't make a review.
Forget my number, right? If it's a 1-star, forget my name. Yes. My name is Todd. My name is Jeff Renevere.
So that's it, dude. That's everything.
Oh man, you are amazing. All right, well, let's hang out here for just a few minutes if you've got a couple of minutes, and let's field some questions.
Okay, let me unshare my page for you.
You got the chat, right? You got the chat. Well, yeah. First, everybody, blow him up. Let's blow him up right now.
Thank you.
Just like we were at Gen Blue. For those of you at Gen Blue, we had a moment. We had a moment at General Session when we had a gal who had lost her 9-year-old daughter, Carson. And she was talking about how every Christmas, the kids in the elementary school that Carson went to did a Coins for Carson, and they raised every single year $15,000. And they had pulled up on the big screen, and it showed that Coldwell Banker had donated at the event. Okay, it was just this one day, had donated $3,000. And Ryan Gorman came out and said, we can do better. And over the next however long, the agents that attended the St. Jude or the Gen Blue raised over $100,000. They completely and totally blew up the donations. That's what I want for Chuck right now. Let's blow them up. I think we've got 200 or so, 112,000. Thank you.
Nice.
We've got 200 plus people on this between individuals and
Awesome.
watch parties. So
Awesome.
if you'll just take 30 seconds to do that, I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
So,
But
Chuck,
yes.
I do have a couple here. All right, thoughts on holding open houses of listings from agents not in your office?
Well, is it the same company?
No.
So, well, I mean, I don't know what your policy is on that, Todd. I mean, but if you're trying to break into a farm and if Todd's okay with it, if you guys are okay with it, hey, you sit whatever you can to get clients because we're in it to win it. And wherever you got to go, whatever you have to do to get buyers and sellers, well, not whatever, but you guys know what I mean. I'm in, do it. All right. Just get aggressive. Get aggressive. And if that's what you got to do, because you don't have any local listings or it's an area you're trying to farm and that agent's dopey enough to let you in there, do it. Do it.
Yeah, that would be the thing for me. What's wrong with that agent that they are letting you in there?
For sure.
Because that is in a direct competition with you or them owning the farm. So if you can figure it out, that's awesome.
Hey, and Todd, can I add one more thing real quick?
Yeah.
I just want to tell you guys, and I'm not kissing Todd's butt, but I sure hope you guys know how lucky you are because I've spent a lot of time with Todd and he is constantly trying to learn and constantly trying to bring you guys the best speakers and constantly trying to bring you guys the best material. And, I see business plannings and things like this, like you realize other companies don't do things like this. And so I just want you guys all to know how lucky you guys are to be with Distinctive. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because I've worked with a lot of companies and you guys are lucky to have this crew that you guys have here at Distinctive, out front leading for you guys and giving you all the tools that you have. So I just wanted to throw you that bone, Todd, because it's real, man. I mean, you're a great guy. You're always trying to, make everybody better. And I appreciate that, dude.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
No problem.
All right, what do we got? You've got free access to Chuck. What's your question?
Here's a typical one. Should I have a business Facebook page? That's a very typical question that I am asked. I believe that you cannot hide. The only reason that you need to have those business Facebook pages, for me, it's to use the Coldwell Banker social ad engine or any ads that you want to take. Don't try to necessarily draw eyeball, and you can share from there to your main page or the opposite. But remember, people want to know who you are. They want to know what you are about, and be authentic on your personal page. If you love horses, work with horses. You will attract those sorts of people. Like, you could run your entire business from your Facebook and Instagram. I don't think a business page is that important because you're never going to get much of a following on it anyway. So that's a question that one of your people asked me actually at Gen Blue, Todd.
Great.
So
Love that.
Anything else? Are we good?
I think we're good. Thank you for jumping through some hoops. I know that was a little bit stressful.
Hey, it's okay as long as you don't mind me being
always,
at home.
Dude. No, not at all. Love. Look forward to seeing you next time, buddy. And again, thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'm out. Have a good one. Hope to see you guys all soon. Take care.